Romeo and Juliet, Act 3, Scene 3, were in Friar Lawrence's cell. Enter Friar Lawrence. Romeo, come forth, thou fearful man. Affliction is enamored of thy parts, and thou art wedded to calamity. You should have answered that calamity is a fancy word for disaster. Enter Romeo. Father, what news? What is the prince's doom? What sorrow craves acquaintance at my hand that I yet know not? Too familiar is my dear son with such sour company. I bring thee tidings of the prince's doom. What less than doomsday is the prince's doom? A gentler judgment banished from his lips, not body's death, but body's banishment. Ha! Banishment? Be merciful, say death, for exile hath more terror in his look, much more than death. Do not say banishment. You should have said that Romeo thinks banishment is worse than death because he can't see Juliet. Hence from Verona art thou banished. Be patient, for the world is broad and wide. There is no world without Verona walls, but purgatory, torture, hell itself. Hence banished is banished from the world, and world's exile is death. Then banished is death mistermed. Calling death banishment, thou cuttest my head off with a golden axe, and smilest upon the stroke that murders me. O deadly sin, O rude thankfulness, thy fault our law caused death, but the kind prince, taking thy part, hath rushed aside the law, and turned that black word death to banishment. This is dear mercy, and thou seest it not. The friar is saying, things could be worse. You're getting off easy. Quit being a baby. 'Tis torture and not mercy. Heaven is here where Juliet lives, and every cat and dog and little mouse, every unworthy thing live here in heaven and may look on her. He's saying, I'd rather die. Everyone can see her but me, but Romeo may not. More validity, more honorable state, more courtship lives in carrion flies than Romeo. They may seize on the white wonder of dear Juliet's hand and steal immortal blessing from her lips, who even in pure and vestal modesty still blush as thinking their own kiss is sin, but Romeo may not. He is banished. Flies may do this, but I from this must fly. They are free men, but I am banished. And sayest thou yet that exile is not death? Hast thou no poison mixed, no sharp ground knife, no sudden mean of death? You should have answered that Romeo asked Friar to give him poison or a knife. But banished to kill me? Banished? Oh, friar, the damned use that word in hell. Howlings attendant. How hast thou the heart, being a divine, a ghostly confessor, a sin absolver, and my friend profess, to mangle me with that word banished? Thou fond man, hear me but speak a word. Oh, that will speak again of banishment. I'll give thee armor to keep off that word, adversity's sweet milk, philosophy to comfort thee, though thou art banished. Yet banished? Hang up philosophy, unless philosophy can make a Juliet, displant a town, reverse a prince's doom. It helps not, it prevails not. Talk no more. Oh, then I see that madmen have no ears. How should they, when that wise men have no eyes? Let me dispute with thee of thy estate. Thou canst not speak of that thou dost not feel. Wert thou as young as I, Juliet thy love, an hour but married, Tybalt murdered, doting like me, and like me banished, then mightest thou speak. Then mightest thou tear thy hair and fall upon the ground as I do now, taking the measure of an unmade grave. Knocking within? Arise, one knocks. Good Romeo, hide thyself. Not I, unless the breath of heart-sick groans mist-like enfold me from the search of eyes. Knocking? Hark, how they knock! Who's there? Romeo, arise, thou wilt be taken. Stay a while, stand up. Knocking? Run to my study by and by. God's will, what simpleness is this? I come. Knocking? Who knocks so hard? Whence come you? What's your will? Within, the nurse? Let me come in, and you shall know my errand. I come from Lady Juliet. Welcome, then. The nurse enters. Oh, holy friar, tell me, holy friar, where is my lady's lord? Where's Romeo? There on the ground with his own ears made drunk. Oh, he is even in my mistress's case, just in her case. Oh, woeful sympathy, piteous predicament. Even so lies she, blubbering and weeping, weeping and blubbering. Stand up, and you be a man. For Juliet's sake, for her sake, rise and stand. Why should you fall into so deep an oh? You should have answered that Romeo and Juliet are both crying, they're weeping, they're blubbering over their lost love. Nurse, ah, sir, well, death's the end of all. Speakest thou of Juliet? How is it with her? Doth she not think me an old murderer, now I have stained the childhood of our joy with blood removed but little from her own? Where is she, and how doth she, and what says my concealed lady to our cancelled love? Oh, she says nothing, sir, but weeps and weeps, and now falls on her bed, and then starts up, and Tybalt calls, and then on Romeo cries, and then down falls again. As if that name, shot from the deadly level of a gun, did murder her, as that name's cursed hand murdered her kinsman. Oh, tell me, friar, tell me, in what vile part of this anatomy doth my name lodge? Tell me that I may sack the hateful mansion. Draws a sword. Hold thy desperate hand. Art thou a man? Thy form cries out thou art. Thy tears are womanish. Thy wild acts denote the unreasonable fury of a beast, unseemly woman in a seeming man, or ill-beseeming beast and seeming both. Thou hast amazed me. By my holy order, I thought thy disposition better tempered. Hast thou slain Tybalt? Wilt thou slay thyself, and stay the lady too that lives in thee by being damned hate upon thyself? Why railest thou on thy birth, the heaven and earth? Since birth and heaven and earth all three do meet in thee at once, which thou at once wilt lose, fie, thou shamest thy shape, thy love, thy wit, which like a usurer aboundest in all, and usest none in that true use instead. Indeed, which would bedeck thy shape, thy love, thy wit. Thy noble shape is but a form of wax, digressing from the valor of a man. Thy dear love sworn but hollow perjury, killing that love which thou hast vowed to cherish. Thy wit, that ornament to shape and love, misshapen in the conduct of them both, like powder in a skitless soldier's flask, set afire by thine own ignorance, and thou dismembered it with thine own defense? What roused thee, man? Thy Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou wast but lately dead. There art thou happy. The friar says that the first reason Romeo should be grateful is that Juliet is alive. Tybalt would kill thee, but thou slewest Tybalt. There art thou happy too. The second reason that Romeo should be grateful is that Tybalt did not kill him. He's alive. The law that threatened death becomes thy friend and turns it to exile. There art thou happy. The third reason that Romeo should be grateful or happy is that he's exiled instead of death. He's just banished. A pack of blessings lights upon thy back. Happiness courts thee in her best array, but like a misbehaved and sullen wench, thou poutest upon thy fortune and thy love. Take heed, for such die miserable. Go, get thee to thy love, as was decreed. Ascend her chamber hence and comfort her. But look thou not stay till the watch be set, for then thou canst not pass to Mantua. You should have answered that the friar is sending Romeo to Juliet's house, where thou shalt live in Mantua till we can find a time to blaze your marriage, reconcile your friends, beg pardon of the prince, and call thee back with 20,000 times more joy than thou wouldst forth in lamentation. You should have answered that the friar is going to send Romeo to Mantua after he gets back from Juliet's house, where he can try to achieve a pardon for Romeo and so he can return. Go before, nurse, commend me to thy lady, and bid her hasten all the house to bed, which heavy sorrow makes them apt unto. Romeo is coming. O Lord, I could have stayed here all the night to hear good counsel. Oh, what learning is, my lord! I'll tell my lady you will come. Do so, and bid my sweet prepare to chide. Here, sir, a ring she bid me give you, sir. Hie you, make haste, for it grows very late. She exits. How well my comfort is revived by this. Go hence, good night, and here stands all your state. Either be gone before the watch be set, or by the break of day disguised from hence. Sojourn in Mantua. I'll found at your man, and he shall signify from time to time every good hap to you that chances are. Give me thy hand, 'tis late. Farewell, good night. You should have answered that Romeo needs to go to Mantua before morning, but that a joy past joy calls out on me. It were a grief so brief to part with thee. Farewell.